excited for that because I finished the remake, and man, was that final act easily the best part of the game. So this game came out 2 years ago. I beat it after 2 years, and the reason being is that it's an RPG, and the combat is not turn based, which is fantastic. It's this ATB system where you get 2 bars. Each character gets 2 bars, and you get your regular like hack and slash attacks pressing square. But when a bar fills up, you then get the ability to do some type of magical ability or any other abilities you have, and it's cool. And when you do it, is you can either attach it to certain button commands, so you could do it in real time, or you press a button and it slows down, and you go through this really quick and easy to navigate menu, and then you do the attack, and it gives you time to just plan out your moves, and it's cool, and I love it, and it's really fun. And dude, this last act was really fun. It was just a bunch of dope boss fights. And something that I hate about this game did not exist in this last level, and I wish the whole game was like this because this is why it took me so long to beat it. Is you have to run through corridors a lot. Just run through empty corridors to get from battle to battle or to get to the next part of the story. And those are probably because this game was originally released on PS4. It's probably a way to hide loading screens, but it's so annoying, and that's my biggest gripe. That's one of my biggest gripes with the game. But in this last mission, they actually make your traversal through the corridors more fun because you're picking up information about the world, and you're learning about Shinra and the different people who work there, and it was fun. And then you get to the parts where you have to fight, and you have to fight these cool bosses, and at the end, this is not a spoiler. It is not a spoiler to say at the end of a Final Fantasy VII game that you fight Sephiroth, and it was easily the best boss fight in the entire game. And the remakes of his theme, which coincidentally the remix of his theme, which I was gonna say coincidentally, but it's definitely not a coincidence that the remix of his theme, which is called One Winged Angel, is called One Winged Angel Rebirth, and then the second game in this remake trilogy is called Rebirth. So, yeah, that's fun. So my second biggest gripe with the game is these things called whispers, which spoiler alert. I should have said that at the beginning. Spoiler alert for Final Fantasy VII, but there's these things called whispers. But what I like to call, and I got this from Maximilian Dude on YouTube, is our plot ghost. So these whispers are essentially they look like dementors. They're soldiers of destiny. At the end of the game, you don't care about spoilers for Final Fantasy, right? Okay, good. Because I had a feeling you didn't, but I just want to make sure. I always got to make sure. But these whispers, as they're called, make sure that everything goes the exact same way that it went in the original game. Um, but without spoiling the original game for people watching, because I've had some major things from the original game spoiled, and I'm sure you know what they are, Amir, because Final Fantasy VII is a popular game. But the way I got spoiled sucked so hard too. But and because I could have avoided it, and I hate it. But yeah, they're trying to prevent you from changing what happens in the original game, and this is essentially the developer's way of saying the events in this remake of the game are going to be different from the original game, and then giving a plot reason as to why things are different, which I think is cool. Otherwise, people would have been like, "Why are you changing things?" So they give you a reason why things are different. So the only problem I have is, if the goal of these plot ghosts are to maintain the original's timeline, why the hell are they constantly interrupting the parts of the game that are from the original story? Large swarms of them keep appearing in the middle of sections that are identical to the OG game and interrupting my enjoyment of the OG story. And I'm like, bro, they should, and they do this, and I think they should have done this the whole game, is they'll come in and like, when you're going through missions where you're doing things the way you're supposed to, they come in and they help you and gently push you in certain directions to make sure that you're going the path that they want you to go, the path of destiny as they call it. And then obviously if you try they don't really build in too many moments early on in the game where I feel like things are going so differently that large swarms of them need to come. But at the very end of the game, things do start to go differently, and they learn what's happening. They get like glimpses of the future, the alternate future, and then they decide they're going to fight against Destiny and like destroy the ghost so that they could change the way things work. And it worked at the end, but every time the plot ghost showed up before that were just annoying and interrupting the story, and I hated it. I think it was a better way they could have done it. They should have been more liberal about it at the beginning, and then had the big swarm of them at the end like they already had. But yeah, overall, the game was fun. I'm I try to figure out because I go out of 5 in terms of my scale, and I do half points, and for me, I'm trying to pick between 3.5 and 4. So if I had to go further than half points, which I don't normally do, I would give it a 3.8 because the corridors that annoyed me so much that it bumps it down a little bit, but it's closer to a 4 than it is a 3 because it's a really fun game, and I'm excited for the second one, which based on how the original game goes from the little bit of information I have, it's going to open up much more. So it's hopefully going to be less running through corridors and more open spaces. Not completely open world, but semi open world. And that sounds real fun to me.